Here I am again. Hi, everyone. Deb Haaland here. There we go. Everybody knows I've confessed before. I'm not the most tech savvy person, but I am here. Hello, everyone. Tony. Nice to see you all. Black Lives Matter. Thank you for being here. I am waiting for my friend, colleague, and chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, and Adam Smith from Washington, the 9th District of Washington, and I am, hello, hi Auntie Deb, hi everyone, nice to see you. I'll look forward to talking with Chairman Smith when he gets here. I hope everyone had a really good and eventful election season. It's not over yet, but I hope everybody's well. Thank you for the thank you. I love the earrings also. Let's see. We're waiting for Chairman Smith, and we're going to talk about the House Armed Services Committee. We are Chairman Smith came last year to see us here in New Mexico. We did a he's clicking in now from what I hear. Chairman Smith came to New Mexico we did a tour of Kirtland Air Force Base and some other folks. And so I'm happy to be able to connect with him again. Just so y'all can know what we're up to in the House Armed Services Committee and have a moment or a few minutes to hear from Chairman Adam Smith of Washington. But I hope everyone's good. Super happy. Thanks for joining, everyone. Really happy to see you here. I know it takes a minute or two to sign in on Instagram Live. But let's see, it's a beautiful sunny day here in New Mexico. I'm on the indigenous land of the Tiwa and the Tanoan peoples. If I go outside my front door, I can get a view of the Sandia Mountains. Thank you for joining us from New Orleans, Weedies. Let's see. And I'm looking for Chairman Smith at Rep. Adam Smith. Thanks for hanging in there, everybody. I know it takes a few minutes for folks to get on. Hello from Toronto, Miss Morningstar. Nice to see you. Thanks so much. Thanks for, hey everybody, you can give us, oh, there's Rep. Adam Smith. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Hi from Phoenix, Mama the Llama. Thanks for joining us. Give my regards to everyone in Phoenix. There we go. Hi, Chairman.
My very first time doing this, so I could see you, I could hear you.
Oh, good, good. Just tilt your phone down. There we go, so we can see all of. Yeah. Perfect. Thanks for joining me. I know, I'm not a tech savvy person either, but I do manage to figure it out sometimes. So I'm happy to have you. And I was just telling our Instagram Live audience that you were here last year for a visit, and we were able to tour Kirtland Air Force Base and some other folks. And I'm just happy to have you, everyone. This is Chairman Adam Smith from Washington's 9th District. And as I mentioned, he's our incredible, talented leader in the House Armed Services. How are you doing, Chairman Smith?
I am good. Nervous, as we all are across the country, about how
Mm-hmm.
things come out, about how the election is going, but
Mm-hmm.
cautiously optimistic.
Okay, good. Well, you look healthy, and I'm happy for that. And I know it's a crazy time in our country, but as we look ahead, I know we're always going to have work to do in the House Armed Services Committee. And um, so, can you just talk a little bit about the committee from your perspective and your role as chair?
Absolutely. No, it's a terrific committee of which Congresswoman Haaland is an outstanding member. We actually had 14 freshmen on the committee from the class of 2018, 57 members, 31 Democrats, 26 Republicans. And our primary job is to exercise oversight of the Department of Defense. And, we work together to do that. And I guess I would divide the job up into two areas. One is that basic oversight, where all 57 members, we work on a variety of different issues, but the overarching goal is, how do we make sure that the Pentagon is doing the level best job it can, spending the money most wisely? And a particular focus, obviously, is the men and women who are serving in the military, to make sure that they and their families have the equipment, support, and everything they need to do the job that we are asking them to do. And I know Deb is, particularly focused on that with the number of service members in her district, but and elsewhere. So we exercise that oversight. We'll work with the Pentagon, we'll work with our colleagues in the House and the Senate and the White House to get there. And then the other thing we do is it is our responsibility to authorize all of Pentagon activity. So this year, the budget request for DOD is $741 billion. And our job is to authorize that money. And then we pass one bill a year, but it is the National Defense Authorizing Act. So usually it's roughly 2,000 pages, north of $700 billion, with literally hundreds, and in this year, I think a little over 2,000 individual provisions in it.
Mm-hmm.
And those provisions run, the gamut in terms of what's actually in it. Big focus last year and this year, there was a little bit of a housing crisis, and that mold was becoming a problem in a lot of on-base housing from the housing privatization project that's been going on for the last 20 years. So we passed a tenant bill of rights for service members, and we took efforts to try to make sure we clean that up. And this year we have a lot of work on diversity issues, on making sure that hiring and promotion is fair and equitable. But then we also get into individual weapon systems, battles over whether or not to retire the A-10. That was an issue that, affected folks next door to you there in Arizona, because they have A-10 bases there. But then, we debate, new nuclear missiles to be built. So everything you can imagine within DOD is what we're supposed to do in our committee within that bill. And then we then have to work with the Senate to get to it. I guess the two unique things about our committee, well, not necessarily unique, but at least not the usual practice, we are a very bipartisan committee. I always say we're the most bipartisan committee in Congress, which these days is not a high bar to jump over. But we work in a bipartisan way, and every year we pass the bill out of committee and off the floor in a bipartisan way. I think the second thing that is unusual is, as I mentioned, we pass this bill every year. And increasingly, legislation does not get passed in the normal way in Congress. We take on big issues, leadership makes decisions, the bill winds up on the floor. For those of you who are Schoolhouse Rock fans and how a bill becomes a law, that's not the way it usually works. It is the way it works in our committee. We introduce the bill every year. We have a usually 12, 14, 16-hour markup in committee where we take amendments, we debate it, we mark it up, and then we pass it out of committee to the House floor, where for 2-3 days we offer amendments and debate it there, and then pass it out of the House. The Senate does the same thing on their side, and then we go to conference to resolve the differences and pass the bill. And that's where we're at right now. We've passed the House bill, we've passed the Senate bill, and the two sides are negotiating to hopefully get to a final bill. And the last thing I'll say is we have passed that final bill for 59 consecutive years. So we're going for 60 this year. And that is by far the longest consecutive streak of any committee passing a piece of legislation every year. So that's a little bit of background of what we do. It's a great committee. Love being on it. Love the people I get to work with. And we get to work on a lot of very interesting and important issues.
So, well, yes, and thank you so much. We're so grateful for the work you've done, and especially now since, this pandemic that has been ravaging so many communities, that we ensured that there were resources available to service members along with the rest of the country. My parents are veterans, so you like some of you likely know that I've traveled around a lot, lived in lots of military housing, so I know how important it is to give service members and their families a clean place and a safe place to live. And so I felt like my voice on the committee, because of my experience as a military kid and being raised in a military family, might be able to help with some of the other parts of, some of the other pieces of the bill that we were able to get in, like helping women service members with maternity uniforms, which is I think part of our mission is to take away the barriers so that we can have more women, more diversity in the upper levels of our service ranks, and so that was meant to help with that. Chairman Smith, what drives your work on the committee? I feel like I have a passion for it because of the way I was raised. What drives your work on the committee?
Well, the biggest thing, what I have a passion for is effective representative government. And I have a passion for doing the job well and making sure that the people in my district, and I represent the 9th District of the state of Washington. I used to, for 16 years, represent Joint Base Lewis McChord, which is a very large joint base combining the Army and the Air Force. So that got me interested in specifically armed services issues. But the big thing that drives me is the idea that we as representatives need to be the voice of the people and show them that the legislative process, that representative government can in fact work, that we can listen to the people we represent, take their ideas, turn them into legislation, and produce a product. And that's what we produce. And then specifically on the Armed Services Committee, I am very driven by the idea of making absolutely certain that the people who serve in our military have everything they need to do the job that we ask them to do. We have a lot of very big debates about how much money should we spend on DoD, what should the mission be, whether we're talking about pulling out of Afghanistan, our presence in Europe, the special forces who are fighting against transnational terrorist groups in different places, should they be there? Those policy questions are very important. But to me, the number one biggest issue is whatever we decide on a policy basis, if we decide this is the mission, this is where we want our service members to go, it is our responsibility on the committee to make sure that they are trained, properly equipped, and properly supported so they are in the best possible position, number one, to be safe, and number two, to get that job done. So I'm very, very motivated by that.
Excellent. Excellent. So I know I was telling some folks earlier that you would come to Albuquerque to visit us, and we did a tour, and we were happy to show you the solar projects on Kirtland Air Force Base along with the tour that we took. And I think very strongly that solar energy, solar projects will help us build our resilience for our armed forces. And I want to just say to everyone watching, if you would give us the thumbs up emoji in the chat to let us know if you support climate resilience on our military bases, I'd appreciate that. Just to know that y'all are supporting some of the work that we're doing. So aside from that, Chairman, what do you think stands out about your trip here to Albuquerque? And of course, we want you to come back again. So. If there was something that you felt you wanted to visit again, or something you didn't see.
Yeah, no. First of all, I still talk about that solar project. Whenever I'm talking about, what do we need to do to deal with climate change, and what do we need to do to build a different energy future? Because at the end of the day, fossil fuels and the excessive use of energy places a huge burden on our planet. but we're not going to stop using energy. Okay. We need to heat our houses and, drive our cars and run our businesses and all that. You need energy, but how can we do it in a cleaner, more sustainable way? And that the solar project that you've built down there that enables those buildings that they built to work off of solar power, to put energy back onto the grid, so that it actually can get the full benefits of that energy source is something I talk about a lot. So that stands out. I think stands out, of course, is the incredibly important nuclear weapons mission that is performed there, and just the dedication and the talent of the people who are doing it. Because I was getting the tour from the service members there. They're explaining their job, and very straightforward. Not anything dramatic about it, but it's an unbelievably important job. And the fact they understand how to do it and how to protect those weapons is incredibly important. So, I very much enjoyed that. And I'd look forward to the opportunity to come back and just, stay updated on how those missions are being performed.
Absolutely. Well, you're welcome anytime. And Bill Lives to Fish just commented that the green chili, of course, here in New Mexico is one of the best things that we have to offer. So, of course, you're welcome anytime. So everybody, thank you so much, Chairman. Really proud to have you, the chair of the House Armed Services Committee. We are proud to have you in Albuquerque. And is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers about your work on the committee, or anything, anything that's on your mind today? Yeah.
The one quick thing that's on my mind is to emphasize the point. I really appreciate you doing this, and I appreciate the work that you do representing your district. Is just how important democracy itself is in representative government. And as we go through a close, contentious election, I hope people understand that the process itself matters a lot. Okay, having a system of rules for people to have their voices heard within a government is incredibly important, and we shouldn't take it for granted. Now sometimes you lose. I mean, I know I've had a lot of initiatives that I've wanted to advance, and I didn't get the votes. I either couldn't get it through committee, couldn't get it through the House, or more frequently, couldn't get it through the Senate. I've had campaigns where I was deeply invested in a candidate who didn't win. All right. That's the way this process works. But the important thing is we have those rules in place. We follow those rules, and we then have a fair system that everybody can participate in. And that's what we need to work towards. I don't know. There's no sort of perfect policy answer that I've ever come across. There's no one person who's going to solve all the problems of the world. The system itself, the equality of that system and the inclusion of that system, which I really appreciate Deb's work to try to make sure that equality is there. That's what gives us our strength. It's not one person. It's not one ideology. It's not, 5 policy ideas. It's bringing everybody in, giving them a fair set of rules, and making sure that we treat people fairly and equally. So, conversations like this are incredibly helpful towards achieving that goal of making sure that our representatives, like Deb and me, stay in touch with the people we represent, the people whose voices we are supposed to hear, heed, and try to meet their needs.
Excellent. Thank you, Chairman. I'm so grateful that you're here today. I couldn't agree with you more, and I'll look forward to seeing you when we're all back in DC again. Thank you for joining us. And we have to do our part to stop the spread. And I want to thank all of our military families across here in my district, but across our country. Thank you for serving our country. I'm very grateful to you. Both my parents are veterans. My father, God rest his soul, left us in 2005, but his spirit lives on. And I'm so grateful that you all were here. Have a wonderful day.